What is going on? This is Ryan with Automatic Comics, and yes, you saw that thumbnail right. I got some books back from CGC. I have not sent books into CGC for over a year. The last one was my Superman #2, and that was actually one that I sent to get conserved in like August of 2023. Didn't get to CGC until like January of 24. So that was the last book that officially from me went through CGC. These ones aren't technically for grading. If you watched my my video that I put out, I don't know what it was, maybe 6 weeks ago, something like that, about CGC's increase in prices, one of the things I mentioned was that they had a pretty big increase in price on the reholdering. And I had 6 books that I wanted to get reholdered. I wanted new cases for them. A couple of them I wanted the Pedigree labels. One of them was a cracked case. And 2 of them was for a special reason, and I'll get into that too. Because depending on what I did for my thumbnail, I don't know, I haven't decided what my thumbnail is going to be as of filming, but one of these books at least is a lower grade now than when it was originally sent in. And I was expecting that. So yes, it's disappointing to have that happen, but it's what I was expecting to happen when I sent it in. The other one, getting a little more about that one, I don't actually know. I only know the outcome of 2 of these. I don't know the outcome of the other 4 because I've got 2 boxes here, and basically like the first 2, I was able to check the cert numbers on CGC and they were working, everything was fine, and then all of a sudden the cert numbers stopped working. So I don't know what's going on. I'll give it a couple days, maybe it'll resolve itself, and it doesn't, I'll reach out to them and see. But so I was able to get an idea. I knew exactly what happened to 2 of the books. I don't know how the other 4 turned out. So I'm gonna cut into this box here. This is the high value box first. This is the one where I know that there was a drop in there in a grade for one of these books. And one of the things that I've mentioned quite a few times on this channel is that I do not ever consider sending to CGC as a way to preserve your book. I know people will say that all the time. I'll hear that. I'll see it on Reddit posts and Facebook posts and all that. It's not the best way to preserve your book. The best way is probably just a Mylar and a full back and put it in a box somewhere safe. You know, that's probably the best way. And the reason is because of what you're going to see with this book. And I don't want to make people think that this happens all the time. I mean, I have probably over the last 5 years, I don't know how many slabs I've had, 500, 600. And I think I've probably seen this 3 times. And so what I'm talking about is damage to the book inside of the case. And so that's either from it being shifted too hard or whatever. And in this case, and this is also why I'm very hesitant to send in books that have very fragile spines if they're still attached, because you have a pretty decent chance that that book is going to detach inside the case. And that's what happened here. And so this book was a 5.0. I wasn't sure if it had received damage inside the case, but I was pretty sure because I could tell it was fully detached, and I didn't think you could get a 5.0 with a fully detached cover. This is a very old label. This was a 1st gen label, and it just over the years, something, probably happened, somebody tossing the book around or shipping or whatever, detached inside the case. Now, I wasn't certain what grade it would get. I know what grade it got now because I've seen it. But that was part of why I sent it in, because I wasn't convinced that was the actual grade for the book anymore. So I decided, instead of me selling it to someone and them being upset or whatever, I was like, I'll send it in and get confirmation on what the grade actually is. The other one, because this box is actually, it's that negative, but it's also a positive. It's something I'm really excited about. And so I'll show you that one. It's a book that I had taken off my PC, and I might be adding it back on now. So, and I know it's funny. People seem to think like that if you hold books up like this, that me as the person like that, I can see the grade. I cannot. They're like, oh, the person's just faking it or whatever. It's like, if you keep it outside your peripheral vision, like, I don't know what book I'm holding right now, but I bring it down from the outside. Okay, this is the one that was damaged. So what this is Mr. Mystery. I think it's number 13. Let's see, I don't want to show you guys. Yeah, so Mr. Mystery number 13, because I already know the grade on it, so it's no mystery to me. This is a Bernard Bailey cover, awesome cover. He does so many great pre-code horror covers, and this is one of them. And so it's this guy getting drowned on the cover. This was a 5.0, and it was an old label 5.0, and it is now a 4.0. And so when I sent this in, and this is one of those things, like they are absolutely checking these books. If you are sending books in for reholdering, it used to be that they would just swap it into the other. That was the whole problem with the whole case swapping thing. And so they are absolutely checking these books now, and that's what they did with this one. And so this book dropped from a 5.0 to a 4.0. A 4.0 is the highest grade that I was aware of that you could get with a detached cover. And so I'm pretty happy that it got the 4.0, because that means that is the best possible grade that this could have gotten with a detached cover. It still sucks because it loses a lot of value dropping from a 5 to a 4. This is a very expensive book. It gets more expensive very quickly as the grade goes up. But I just decided I wanted to get that confirmation on what the grade actually was, because I know that's one of those questions people often ask, like if a book is damaged inside the case, is it still the grade? Maybe, maybe not. So, and this, my opinion is it isn't. And so this one was damaged inside the case. I sent it back in. Now, and the other thing is, I have this nice new label. It's not the old label anymore. It's real clear, nicer case. And let's see if there's any scratches or anything. No, this case looks really nice. This might be the first unscuffed case I've seen. This one looks really nice. So good job CGC on that one. But 4.0 creamed off white pages, awesome Bernard Bailey cover. I'm surprised they don't call it a classic cover. It should be. But yeah, so this one, yeah, it's definitely a loss of value on that, but at least it is the proper grade for the book. All right, now, second book. This one I am super excited about. And here, just for, I don't know, just for effect, I'm bringing it on. I already know what the grade is. But this is Walt Disney's Comics and Stories #1. This is one of my favorite covers of the Golden Age. I don't know why. I'm not a huge Disney fan or anything, but I love this cover. I love the page turn type covers. There's a couple Batman ones that are like that. I love that style of cover. I think it looks really cool. And I like simple covers with solid backgrounds, especially in the Golden Age like this. And the reds just pop on this book. I really like this one. So this book, here you go, is a 4.5 off-white pages, very solid presenting copy of this book. Now, why am I excited about this? Why did I send this book back in to get reslabbed? Well, I'll throw a picture somewhere up over here of what this book was. This was in a magazine case. And so when I bought this book, it was in a magazine case, and it arrived, and I measured it, and I was like, this book should not be in a magazine case. It was the right size to fit into a standard slab. And honestly, in my opinion, there is not much that looks better presentation-wise than a CGC graded book, Golden Age book that fills up a magazine or one of these standard slabs. And so just like this, it just edge to edge, it looks so good. And that's what this one is. It's it fills it up perfectly edge to edge. And so I measured it out. I finally decided that I would take the risk to send it in to see if I could get it in the standard slab. I put a note on it. I put a note on the slab itself. I put a note on the submission form. And I said, I measured this. This should be in a standard case. Can you put it into a standard case? And if you can't, don't crack it out. I was like, I don't want to pay for this again. Just send it back to me. And so got it into that standard case. And so, the reason I pulled this book off my PC list was because it was in that stupid magazine case. I hated it. I know, and it's crazy, but I hated it being in that magazine case. It wouldn't fit on my shelf. It just it doesn't fit well with anything else. It just looks awkward. It's got a bunch of space around the outside. So super, super happy that I got this one back in a standard slab. And I noticed that this one was originally graded in that magazine case in 2022. There was a time period of during the comic boom era where it's almost I don't know, it's they got lazy or something, and anytime it was close, they're just throw it in a magazine case. You saw it all the time with Golden Age books, that you saw these books that should have been in standard slabs getting put in magazine cases, and it sucked. And so, yeah, very happy to get this one. I remember there was another guy that he had a Wonder Woman 1 that they threw in a magazine case, and he had to reach out to them and get it put in a standard slab. So yeah, I would say, it's crazy, but I probably added as much value to this book going into a standard case as I lost going from a 5.0 to a 4.0 on that Mr. Mystery. So it's probably kind of a wash. So pretty happy with that. And let's check this case too. Man, stunning too. I'm shocked. In both these cases, just like flawless. So very happy with that. All right. So those are the two books that I knew that they came back, or what they were going to come back as. One with the, you know, the drop in grade, which, yeah, it sucks, but, you know. And the other one getting the case that I had wanted for that book. I think I'm putting that one back on the PC. I'm super excited about that. That looks really good in person. All right. So, because I had almost sold it at one point, and I'm glad that the sale fell through. I had countered at a different price, you know, just a little bit more, and the person didn't accept, and now I'm real happy they didn't accept. All right. Now in this box, two books that I sent in because I wanted the Pedigree labels. They had been graded before. CGC got those new gold Pedigree labels. I wanted the Pedigree labels on them. One book that had just a smashed corner. I had bought it in an auction. It came smashed, but I had bought a bunch of books as part of it, and I was like, I didn't feel like reaching out to ask for like $25 when I had spent thousands of dollars. I was like, I'll just handle it myself. So I just was waiting until I was going to do it, and this is the time to do it. And the last book is an interesting one, and it's the one that I'm most interested to see what it comes back as, because I had sold this book, and the person I sold it to, they thought it had received damage inside the case. Personally, I did not. They returned it. I'm not going to make someone keep a book. You know, and you can't make someone really keep a book. And so they returned it. And so what I decided to do was send the book back in for reholdering, because like you saw, CGC is checking all these books. And so if it comes back as the same grade, then I am comfortable then selling the book that, you know, it is the grade that it says it is. If it comes back a lower grade, fine. That's the grade it is now. And so we'll see, you know, I don't know. And then there's also all the other books that I hope they came back the same grade. CGC did reach out to me directly when they said that book was coming back a lower grade. So I expect that they would have done that for these two. So I'm expecting them to all be the same grade as when I sent them. But I don't know. We'll see. So let's see what this one is. It's the first book. Oh, and we're starting with the one that was, you know, thought to be damaged inside the case, but like I said, I did not agree, and we'll see. This is Wizard Magazine #1. It was a 9.8. Let's see if it's still a 9.8. Oh, it is. All right. So Wizard Magazine #1. This is the San Diego Comic-Con edition. 9.8. And so they just didn't like that the bottom staple, you know, was kind of like pushed in some. And I mean, I've seen that plenty of times with 9.8. So like, I mean, to me, it was, you know, this is one of those things, like some people disagree on what a 9.8 is, and, you know, it's a CGC 9.8, you know, so, but yeah, it is still a 9.8. So yeah, that is what it is. And so I'm happy about that. And now I feel like I can comfortably sell that book. That was why I sent that one in. You know, it cost me an extra, like whatever it was after everything, like $25 to check it. But at least now, you know, I have confidence in what that book is when I'm selling it. All right, next book. All right, what are you? Okay, so this is Weird Science #15. This was a 9.0 Northford Pedigree. And so I sent this one in because I wanted that gold label on this book. The gold labels, especially on like darker covers, that kind of thing, they just look awesome. So let's see, hopefully they put the gold label on it. Oh my God. Are you kidding me, CGC? Oh, man. Well, you can see it is the Northford Pedigree. It's supposed to be a gold label. And now I gotta send it in for a mechanical. Like, Yeah. I mean, it's easy. Like, you don't have to, like, I've seen things where people say, like, you got to call them. You don't. You fill out the form online. They give you the free shipping label. You send it in. It's just annoying. Because there's actually somebody who reached out and they were interested in this book. And now I got to wait another month, to get it back. So annoying. But at least it's still the 9.0, so it's still a 9.0, but like this is the stuff we're talking about. I know there are people from CGC that watch this channel. Like, what is going on? Like, it costs you money every time this kind of stuff happens. It's not that big a deal to me. It's more time. But it's like, how do you miss this? Like, how do you miss that this is a Northford Pedigree book and it doesn't have the Pedigree label? Like, I know it's not like comic experts necessarily that are doing like the final stage of this, but you see enough books, like you slab enough books, you probably know that this is supposed to be the Pedigree label. You'd think. Like, but that's annoying. So, all right, maybe something else I'll put on the thumbnail for this one. CGC screws up my label. Like, come on, guys. I was happy about one thing and I'm annoyed again. All right. Well, man, maybe I'll be sending back 2. I don't know, because I had two pedigrees in here. God, guys, like, give me a break. Sometimes you just wonder, like, what are you guys doing? So this is also, I'm just going to go right to it. This is a 9.0. It's supposed to be a pedigree. Oh, hey, they got this one right. 9.0, astonishing number 14. Also the Northford Pedigree. Like, I mean, how do you make that mistake? Like, you've got 2 books in the same submission. Both Northford pedigrees. One of them, you give the correct pedigree label. The other one, you give a universal label. Like, how do you even make that mistake? I don't know. Like, but yeah, I mean, that's the thing that people just in general, like, complain about. It's the quality control. Like, the quality control at CGC, I mean, it is atrocious. It really is. Like, that's the thing. Like, that should be one of the number one areas to fix. And it's one of those things where it's like, as someone who's using their service, it makes your experience worse. It's not enough to make, because like, I know I'll have comments be like, why are you still using them? And it's like, it's not a big enough hassle where I'm going to not want to use them. But it's annoying. It makes my experience of using CGC worse. I make a video where I show that it's worse, and it costs them money. Like, they have to pay to have me ship that book back, and they have to pay to ship it back to me again, and pay someone to reholder that book. Like, all of that costs money. And if we know this happens all the time, like mechanicals all the time. And so how much is that costing? I have to imagine it costs more to handle all those mechanicals through the customer support and the shipping and everything than it would cost to hire one person or like 2 people that are experts in this stuff to have them just review books. Now, I know it's not the fun job. You'd have to probably pay them a lot to get them to do it, but to just review these as they're going out to catch this stuff. Like, just that. I mean, that's probably going to cost, I don't know, between shipping labels and the person's time, it's probably going to cost them $30. Like, how many do you catch an hour? I bet it's a lot. Like to me, that seems like just a simple fix, and that you could get someone to save just tons of money for the business on that. But yeah, okay. At least one of them came back. One of them came back with the updated label. I do really, really like these gold labels. That's why I sent it in. I think they look especially good on like pre-code horror books, like dark covers like this. So this is astonishing number 14, a 9.0 Northford Pedigree killer book. Yeah. And if you I guess I probably haven't shown that video yet, so I can't, I won't talk about that yet. But yeah, off-white to white pages, awesome. This back cover. But yeah, I love the Pedigree labels. I really do. I think they're great. I hope they don't. They went through a few different versions of them. I hope they don't change these ones. I like these ones. All right, so that one's good at least. So the last book should be the one that was the smashed slab. And so this is one where you hope it retains the same grade, that it didn't take any damage inside the case by having that case get cracked. This one, actually a Silver Age book. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 28, is it? Yeah, I think 28. His first appearance of Molten Man, really tough book in grade. I can actually tell it's got like some like little bends and things on it. Like I wonder if maybe I should have even tried to have it pressed first before this resub. But you know, not a big deal. This was, I believe, a 7.0, and let's see what make sure it retained that grade. Yes, it did. All right, so 7.0 off-white to white pages. Yeah, I mean, like you can tell, like there's some pressable things on there. Maybe I might want to consider with this book. I don't know. Could it get above a 7? I think there's like a little bit of like edge wear on the top there. This is a nice copy though. Man, yeah, this is a nice copy of this book. This is one where the other really nice thing here is that there are very few scuffs on the inner well. Like that's something that you'll often have a couple scuffs on the inner well. And I've had a copy of this book before where they were all over the place and they really detract from the appearance of the book. This one has a couple tiny scuffs, maybe like right, where are they? Like right here. Can't even see them on the video, I don't think. But overall, like this one looks super clean. That is a really nice looking book. Like again, the slab is really good shape. Like I'm very happy about that. I've had times where sometimes the slabs are just all scuffed up and scratched, and it's not something I really care that much about. It's just, it's nice when they don't have it. Man, this one's making me think well, the tough part with this one with repressing it is that you can see like the staples on this copy are really out of alignment. Like they're pretty far into the cover. Like what is that? Maybe like 1/3 of an inch, 1/4 inch to 1/3 of an inch. And so that makes pressing obviously a little bit more challenging with the book. But still, happy to get this one back. Looks really, really nice in this case. 7.0, off-white to white pages, super clean. And yeah, maybe I gotta consider trying to resub that one. Maybe you could get like a 7.5. I don't know if you could get an 8, but yeah, it's a nice looking book. So, all right, overall, pretty happy with the results here. I don't even know if I want to check the bending thing. Doesn't look like it's bent. I know that's like that I've had multiple people ask me that, you know, if I was sending in because if cases were still bent or not, or the well inside the case was still bent. So I'm just gonna try to look at this one through this bright light here. Not at all. Looks perfectly straight. Make sure. I don't see any bending on this one. So I can't say if that's true for everything, but at least this book, which is Silver Age book, so it's, you know, generally a little thinner, a little smaller, maybe more prone to bending. Looks really good. So I don't see any bending on this. I'm not saying I can guarantee there's no bending because I have heard other people still kind of complaining some about it. But this one looks really nice. But that's the whole video. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Got to see because I had not seen those yet. So my definite disappointment in now having to do a mechanical. Glad I checked this quick because you can only do they've changed their whole mechanical rule. You only have, I think, like 14 days or something like that to submit a problem, like a mechanical request. It used to be you had much longer. So you got to be quick about it. When you get your books in, you got to open them up. Because, yep, I got to send that one back. But, again, hopefully you enjoyed this. Yeah, I'm finally sending some stuff into CGC. I will probably send in a grading submission maybe within the next month or two. I got a bunch of books I want to send in. So I'll probably send in a grading submission too. I'm pretty happy not seeing any bending there in that one. I'll look at the other ones too, but yeah, that makes me pretty happy about that. This book looks fantastic. That was actually one of the reasons I was really waiting to get this one reholdered with that whole bending thing, because with this black cover, those bends, like will show up. And this one actually looks, I mean, it looks really good. So, all right, that's all of it. Hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, please hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell, and I will see you on the next one.